10 on ABC. Welcome to the NCAA Championship in the Studio, presented by AT&T.
Women's basketball this year has been nasty.
Going to put on a show tonight.
Johnson for three.
You don't know, mommy, this be who we are. I think no one can stop us but us.
We got a resilient basketball team. They don't like losing.
South Carolina shows you why they've been the most dominant team in the country all season long.
We've always believed in ourselves and what we could do. A lot of people didn't.
And the Oregon State Beavers, they're dancing all the way to the Elite Eight.
We had nothing to lose, and we're not done yet.
I thought it got real nice and rowdy in the second half.
At the Wolfpack goal.
We came into the season with a chip on our shoulder.
I think at Texas, if you don't play with that edge, you're going to get beat.
Longhorns are moving on to the Elite Eight.
We love being the villain, and we're the ones going to battle.
And then there were 8. Some would say that's great. We say elite. More anticipation for this round than maybe any other. The biggest stars, the top dogs, and a rematch of the most watched women's basketball game on record. Okay, with just 4 games left to decide who's rolling to Cleveland, we are more hopped up than the Easter Bunny on a sugar trip. Can it be South Carolina continuing their bid to be the first unbeaten champ since UConn did it 8 years ago? Or will Oregon State pull another upset in a season that is filled with them? It all will be decided very soon as we say hello from inside the studio. Happy Easter to you. We are so excited.
Oh, that's 2 already.
Wait, let's keep it tally. You ready? I've got my peeps with me.
Hey.
That's 3. Chinea Agumake, Andrea Carter. You look a little disappointed. It's going to get better from here. I'm just warming up.
Okay.
And I, of course, am Elle Duncan, always bringing the dad joke. So excited to be here. Great, great, great time if you're a 1 seed. Every single one of them has advanced. Not so great if you're a 3 seed or a 2 seed. None of them have made it. Every single matchup is a 1 through 3. How excited are you for today?
I'm so excited. The games have been as fly and as great as Don Staley's Gucci quarters.
Oh,
You saw
that's
the
a
Gucci.
fact. That's a clear fact.
Sis.
That's how good the games have been.
Yes.
Her dress, her wardrobe, that's the
Correct.
games.
There have been so many players that have stepped up, especially in the tournament. They have resurrected their game at the right time.
That's 4.
For
There
both
we
of you.
go.
I'm staying out of this.
We're unhinged, and so are these players. Let's take you through some of the top plays of the Sweet 16 if you missed any of them. And we're going to start with the first game that we saw, Oregon State and Notre Dame. Reagan Beers.
Beers, and the B stands for blocks. Block shots. This was a welcome to the tournament moment for a stellar freshman, Hannah Hidalgo.
All right, Indiana, South Carolina, Camila Cardoso to Raven Johnson for the clutch 3.
Camila Cardoso wanted the ball left and right. She finally gets the ball and makes the right decision. And then this play on the defensive end. 2 huge plays to create separation for South Carolina down the stretch.
Take this, Dre.
NC State, Stanford. Yeah, Chanae, avert your attention.
Yes.
James.
Sorry, Chanae. Isaiah James, come on. Hand down, woman down, hand down, man down, whatever you prefer. Your hand has to be up.
How about Aaliyah Moore did everything for Texas, including this dish to Khadijah Faye?
Love it. When your big girls have ball handling skills, a little show and go right there, and a beautiful bounce pass. That's not Booker, that's more.
Many question whether they could be the Big 12 champions when Harmon went down.
Nobody picked us to win when Rory went down. So we've been playing with this edge of trying to prove ourselves and get it done.
Rory went down early in the season, and I think my confidence really wasn't down. I would say it was more of unsure what I'm doing. But as the games continued, I think my confidence grew.
Maddie Booker, who started off this game hot, she says, let me test the temperature right here.
Well, it is hot. Got an absolute star in Madison Booker.
Boy, I'd sure hate to have to guard her, that's for sure. We've all got to watch her growth and maturation right in front of our eyes.
We're all super lucky to have Book on our team. I've said since the summer, since she got here, she's just cool, calm, and collected. You would never guess that she's a freshman.
These are people that kind of helped me become who I am right now. Just the confidence they had in me since day one has just helped me be who I am.
They are indeed Texas tough. They've got a grit and a competitive spirit about them that's just off the charts.
Obviously, there's a lot at stake, and everyone knows that. But, I mean, this is why you do it.
We're not scared of anyone. At the end of the day, we know the work that we put in. We have confidence in ourselves. And, you know, we're going to play every game like it's our last, because it could be.
A reminder that we've got so many great matchups for you, and 2 for you today in the Elite Eight. Oregon State taking on #1 seed undefeated South Carolina. That game coming up in just a few minutes. But then the nightcap, not really day cap, I guess you could say. NC State in their 3rd Elite Eight ever, squaring off against Madison Booker and Texas. Spots in the Final Four are on the line. And, of course, that game will be coming to you from Portland. That's 3 p.m. Eastern right here on ABC. As we ask you, as we have been doing, to scan the QR code that's popping up on your screen right now, because we'd love to see your game picks brought to you by AT&T. But let's preview this matchup a little bit, because when it comes to NC State, it felt like they just couldn't consistently score a bucket, and then all of a sudden their guards have just decided to turn it on, really since the ACC tournament, specifically Isaiah James.
Isaiah James has been phenomenal, and what really stood out to me in the Stanford game is in the first half, she was 2 of 6 from the field, struggling, couldn't really buy a bucket, didn't look like herself. In the second half, she comes out 6 of 8 from the field, dropped 25 points. And here's the thing, Texas is going to have to make some sort of adjustment when it comes to defense. Stanford was not able to do so. Watch the ball screen action. Isaiah James comes off. Stanford is in drop coverage, goes right into mid-range pull-up. She didn't even need that second crossover, still has time to get her mid-range shot off with her left hand. It is hand down, man down when you go against Isaiah James, because she has the vision and she can elevate off the ground to get her shot up. Kiki Iriafen steps up slightly. It's still not enough because her hands are down. I'm telling you, if your hands are down, Isaiah James is going to put her shot up. Far from the basket. I don't know how far this is. 35 feet, 39 feet. Caitlin Clark range. Yeah. Hand down, it is going up from Isaiah James. Drop coverage or hand down, it's game over.
Well, you said that Texas defensively needs to make an adjustment. They are fully capable of doing that. We're talking about a Texas defense that straight up destroys. What they did versus Gonzaga, they held the best three-point shooting team of the last 2 years to just 18% from 3. They are known for their help side and their high hedge. This is the opening play of the game. How many times do we see charges on the first play of the game? That is making sure, Coach Vic Schaefer, your team is ready defensively. Then, again, watch this right here. Great contest, but this is a coach's dream again. Box out. This is textbook right here. Everyone creating space, and then they secure the rebound. Now, let's talk about their hedges. Watch this. This is a perfect hedge. Nice hedge. You recover, but then the help side is there. You think it's an easy lob? Nope. Watch what happens. Throw the pass. Snatch that. And then again, on another high hedge play, here, you're active, not just with your hands, but also making sure that you can get that and convert that to offense as well. So their defense leads to offense. It's high hedge. It's help side. And I guess that's what the H's mean for hook 'em. Hook 'em. You know where I'm from. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I'll give it to you.
There's a lot of Texas in there.
The hard hedge is phenomenal. The only thing NC State guards have to be aware of, and the good thing is for NC State, their guards are capable of quick retreat dribble, get downhill. As a guard, when you see a hard hedge, the first thing you are told to do is get on the hip,
get around.
Get on the hip and get around the defender. That's what NC State has to do, and Texas post players have to avoid getting in foul trouble. It's a vulnerable position.
NC State, let's not sleep on their defense either, because for a while that was literally what was carrying them. So if you're Texas, what are you looking out for on that side of the ball?
Oh, immediately, if you think about their defense, I mean, what I love about NC State overall is just that they don't quit, one. But when we're talking about these high hedges, one thing is, you're so right, when you come off of the hip, now you automatically have an advantage. You have 2 people guarding 1 on the ball, so it's a shorter court. So they have to be able to recover. They have to make sure that help side is there. And then also NC State, I think they don't need to panic. I think sometimes in some circumstances, they will not have the size advantage, but they have the speed advantage. So once they really force that advantage, now you have to make sure you make the right play, and otherwise you force a shorter court, so it's going to be harder for them if they don't manage that pick and roll.
Yeah, and as far as NC State, on the defensive end, you have to be prepared for the dribble drive offense of Texas. What is Texas going to do? They're going to get the ball to the wing, they're going to attack, kick, and then re-attack, kick, and then re-attack, kick.
Motion.
The defensive discipline that you have to slide your feet and then get ready, whether they switch it, whether they try to switch it or they try to stay with it, whatever they try to do, the defensive energy for a full 30 seconds for NC State has to be there.
Again, that game coming up 3 p.m. Eastern right here on ABC.
You're watching the NCAA Championship in the studio, presented by AT&T.
The half as we get ready for Texas. They'll be taking on number 3 NC State. We will preview this matchup on the other side. Stick around.
This halftime report is presented by Dove. Let's keep her confident.
Man, has Isaiah James stepped up in the postseason, averaging over 20 points, 5 rebounds per game since the ACC tournament. On the other side for Texas, Maddie Booker, 180 assists this season, one away from breaking the tie with Rory Harmon for the most by a Texas freshman in program history as Texas tries to get back to the Final Four for the first time since 2003. Brooke Weisbrod caught up with Vic Schaefer.
Coach, on December 27th, you lost Rory Harmon for the year. Today you have a chance to go to the Final Four. How did you get your team here?
Just a bunch of tough kids. Hard to talk about it still a little bit, but, you know, just really, I think it's a mindset more than anything. We just refuse to be slotted. We refuse to be somebody to think that we're not good enough. A bunch of kids went and put their head down, went to work. And this is what happens when you have kids that have incredible heart, incredible toughness, and have an unbelievable spirit about them. And, you know, the good Lord took us on that day, and we've gotten to where we are today. And, you know, it's really been fun for me as a coach to have a front row seat for it.
Madison Booker has met the moment at every level. You said she had a freshman moment the other day. How does your point guard and Big 12 Player of the Year, what is the message that you give to her today?
And just go play, man. Have fun. You know, you've done it all year. You've led our team. You've really been a rock. Hard to believe the kid's 18 years old, what she's done in her first year of college basketball. And, again, so you got to go turn it loose and have fun today. You know, you can't play all tied up, and we don't talk about that, but just to my team in general, go be Texas, go be you. That's good enough.
All right, thank you, Coach.
All right, happy Easter.
Isaiah James coming off her huge performance the other night against Stanford, getting ready to go at 25 in the second half. NC State against top seed Texas. That's up next. They still to come here on ABC today. Madison Booker, the first freshman to win Big 12 Player of the Year. 1 seed Texas facing 3 seed NC State. A chance to go to the Final Four.
Thank you, Ryan Rucco. Yes, welcome into the studio with Elle Duncan and Chinea Ogwumike in white and Andrea Carter in her blue. Dawn Staley taking us to church on Easter.
Yes.
That if you don't believe in God,
won't she do it?
Won't she do it? But Drea, we're sitting here talking about this game. I'm trying to pick your brain on what your big sort of high-level thoughts are. And you really hit on why it's so incredibly demoralizing to play South Carolina.
Because it's just not enough. Like, I want to give credit to Oregon State because when you look at their game plan, when you look at the way they played, you have 17 assists on 20 made baskets. You get 4 players in double figures. What plagued you against Notre Dame were your turnovers. You take care of your turnovers against South Carolina, and it's still not enough because of the offensive rebounding. 22 offensive rebounds for 28 second chance points. You can check almost every box, but unless you check every box, it's not enough. And no team's been able to check every box. That's why they're undefeated. That's why they're going to the Final Four.
And also, South Carolina, they remain undefeated, men's or women's, because they can withstand poor shooting nights. And we saw that. They rely in these moments on their defense. Now, Ryan said it best. It's Ashlyn Swatkins.
I mean, come on.
Because of her defense, not just in this round, it's been the round before as well. Look at this right here. She had 4 blocks, 8 points, 13 rebounds, but she is just swatting everywhere. One of the best things you can do as a defender is contest, be aggressive, and do it without fouling, because other bigs in this tournament we've seen have gotten into foul trouble. Yeah. She remains consistent, and those blocks were huge. Not just in this game, but also the last game-stealing block there as well.
What's really impressive to me, too, is what Coach Staley said about some players having to sit a little more than usual. Sometimes Mylasia Fulwiley is the hero, and then Mylasia Fulwiley isn't the hero. It's Ashlyn Swatkins, who we just talked about. Tahina can have 18 points in the first round game and then 8 assists in the second round game.
Tessa Johnson.
And then here, Tessa Johnson comes in. You never know whose day it's going to be, but whoever it is, Coach Staley always finds who it is and who it needs to be, and they stay in the game.
Yeah, also, shout out to Coach Scott Rueck, if we're talking about 2 of the best coaches in the game. He had his team prepared. Yeah. So many of their shots, they did outshoot South Carolina from 3, made 8 threes compared to South Carolina's 4. So many of those shots were by design.
Yeah, you know, again, this is an Oregon State team that really didn't have a lot of expectation coming in to this season. In fact, I think they were picked 10th to finish 10th in the Pac-12.
Wow.
And they made it here and just came across the buzzsaw that is South Carolina. Now, when you're undefeated and you're on a historic run like this, anytime you sort of talk about any weaknesses potentially or any red flags, of course, you're splitting hairs a little bit. But when it comes to South Carolina, we're not talking about 3 games in their last 6 games where they have let a significant lead go past. Going all the way back to Tennessee in the SEC semis, they were up by over 22 points. They let them come back into the game and take the lead. And then, of course, against Indiana, they're up by 22. And Indiana is able to get in the basket. Here, Oregon State down 14, and they let them come back. Any concern at all? I know that we've heard Dawn say, that to me shows that my team can win in a million different ways. But any concern at all about their inability?
This was perimeter scoring. They fixed that this year, even though this game was not their best. To me, it's really who needs the ball when it matters most and who has that awareness. We saw instances where we're like, Camilla needs the ball. Who's going to have that recognition? They have so much talent. They have a wealth of riches. Is it going to be Bree Hall? Is it going to be Raven Johnson? Is it going to be Mylasia Fulwiley? Who's going to be that person that understands the time and score in order to get the right play? Because we don't know which player is going to step up. They're so good around the perimeter, inside the paint. They have to have that awareness collectively, like this person has the hot hand in this moment. Because that's what will give them the consistency, that IQ. That's something they rely on Dawn on, but I think in real time, when you can't call timeouts, they have to figure out who needs the ball.
You know, I'm not concerned about South Carolina winning close games because I haven't seen one close game for South Carolina where they look panicked. I mean, what did they say in the postgame? We've got Dawn Staley. If she doesn't sweat, we don't sweat. In those close games, they've never looked panicked. And honestly, even going back to the Iowa game last season, what happened? They were hesitant to shoot the ball. You don't see that with this South Carolina team. I'd rather rein my team in like, hey, all right, that's a bad shot. I'd rather rein them in, but at least they're confident and they're not panicking instead of being hesitant to shoot the ball.
They took last year personal, and they used that to progress as players. And that, to me, is one of the most tremendous things that trickles down when you're coached by Dawn Staley.
But again, a reminder that you guys are going to hear is, of course, they're moving on to the Final Four and the revenge game, and we heard Dawn mention that. Of course, they lose to Iowa last year in the semis of the Final Four. This is a very different team. They only returned 33% of their offense from last year's team. Raven Johnson's the only person on this team this season that had any starts in last year's squad. So a very different team, but nonetheless, the result is the same. Great coaching. She's built a program there, and they make it to their 4th straight Final Four. Now, we do have some news that we want to share with you coming out of Portland as our next matchup is about to get underway. The women's three-point line, okay, is 22 feet, 1 3/4 inches. It was moved to that distance back in 2021, 2022. Now, unfortunately, what they have discovered and what you're looking at right now is that in Portland, the three-point lines are different on the different sides of the court. Now, the basketball rules proposed the change after the trend showed that they needed to. Both teams have acknowledged that there is a difference, and they are still agreeing to play. So, again, the lines are at different distances on that court. The teams are going to play nonetheless. Let's get you out there for a preview as they walk us through what's happening right now.
Well, before we start this Elite 8 game here in Portland, I want to let you know of some news that happened pre-game. The NCAA was made aware that the top of the key to the three-point line, the space on either side of the floor, looked to be different. The NCAA notified both coaches at approximately noon local time, 3 Eastern. Both Wes Moore and Vic Schaefer came out to the floor to take a look at it. They asked for the NCAA to measure, and they did that. The NCAA measured from the baseline to the top of the three-point line and found there was a discrepancy on one end of the floor from the other, but both Vic Schaefer and Wes Moore have agreed to go ahead and play this game to avoid any delays. Brooke Weisbrod, what have you learned talking with Lisa Peterson of the NCAA?
Yeah, she confirmed that both the floor had been the same all week, and that coaches decided after both taking a look at it that they were okay with it. Now, it had been measured, but she did say it will be professionally measured tomorrow just to ensure we have the exact measurements, but for right now, both coaches are okay to play the way it is.
Okay, so they've been notified. They've given us the go-ahead. And now we are set to start our Elite 8 game. Courtney Lau alongside the Hall of Famer Carolyn Peck. You saw Brooke Weisbrod is also with us. And this matchup is going to be a lot of fun. Coach, you have coached in this tournament. You've won this tournament. And I know, how do you think this Elite 8 game shapes up compared to the rest of the games in the Big Dance?
I think it's the hardest one. And I've come up with winning and going to the Final Four and coming up short. This is the hardest game because as a coach, you know what's on the other side. You know about the excitement of the Final Four. You want to get your players there, but you got to stay in the moment, and you've got to be able to focus in the game at hand.
All right, let's take a look at our starting lineups brought to you by Capital One. Isaiah James, we can't say enough, 29 points, 25 of those coming in the second half in the upset against Stanford. And you see Texas's lineup, it'll be the same as they had in the Sweet 16, but Taylor Jones is available today. She was cleared from concussion protocols, so more depth in the post for Texas. It has been over 2 decades since either one of these teams have been to a Final Four. We're going to make some history today here in Portland.
Courtney, both of these teams, I think, were unexpected at the beginning of the season to be where they are. NC State started out the season unranked, and Texas lost their point guard in December. And look, now they're playing to go to the Final Four.
They're playing with a chip on their shoulder. The adversity has been incredible for both of these groups.
We're going to see 2 different styles defensively. NC State plays more of a gap defense. They're trying to get the ball out of the paint, but Aaliyah Moore gets 2.
Aaliyah Moore coming back from that ACL injury last season. Now she's ready to help her team get back to a Final Four. If you watch NC State, you cannot help but watch Sanaya Rivers, number 22 in red, and Isaiah James, number 10 in red. These 2 backcourt combo, it's impressive.
And can they handle the ball against the pressure of Texas? The guards are going to extend, and the posts are going to protect.
Madison Booker got the steal and headed the other way for Texas. And River Baldwin steps out. Well, Vic Schaefer, second most wins in program history. They're at 33-4, and that is after losing their All-American point guard in Rory Harmon in December as Deanna Gaston hits.
Texas is going to look to continue to get points in the paint. That has been their strength all season long, and Gaston has played a big part in that.
On the other side for NC State, where do most of their points come from?
For NC State, it's off penetration. They're not a team that is high in assists because they've got guards like you talked about, Sanaya Rivers and Isaiah James being able to create off the bounce.
Nana and Zaza, if you will. That's what they call themselves.
I call them Batman and Robin, and those names are interchangeable.
Yeah. Madison Booker, the pull-up at the free throw line. Now, she was in some foul trouble in their Sweet 16 game, was limited to just 6 points, her lowest total since November. There's Sanaya Rivers, the transfer from South Carolina. She won a national championship as a freshman with the Gamecocks, but wanted to move back to her home state and do something special with the Wolfpack.
And her maturity on the court and off. She speaks. I didn't even know when she was at South Carolina that she had a voice, but now at NC State, she is a go-to captain, a leader for NC State.
It's going to be the first foul against River Baldwin of NC State.
Texas are concerned about the transition of NC State. It starts with these 2, Batman and Robin, Sanaya Rivers and Isaiah James.
They told us they had a conversation in the offseason. We want to be the best backcourt duo in the country. They've got an argument for that.
They are leading a strong campaign for that because when those 2 get rolling, NC State, they're the reason that NC State's in playing for going to the Final Four.
Gaston missed them both at the free throw line, and the ball taken away by Mimi Collins.
Rivers wants to push. Ooh.
Rejecting the screen from River Baldwin, then hits her counterpart, Isaiah James in the corner. It's like they always know where the other one is. James has had 25.5 points in her last 2 games.
Well, in watching them in practice yesterday, both James and Rivers were set up with opportunities to drive to the basket. And you know who was sitting out waiting to really benefit? It was Madison Hayes.
Well, Leah Moore with the offensive foul.
Rivers with the crossover, hard drive to the middle, and the defense rotates in. That leaves Madison Hayes wide open. Those deep corners are going to be key. Oh, that was James in the corner down there.
Isaiah James in the corner. Rivers will elevate. Madison Booker, you can tell she is trying to make up for that Sweet 16 game. She only had 6 points, spent a lot of time on the bench because of some foul trouble.
Foul trouble, and she was never able to get into in a rhythm, Madison Booker. But today, early on, Texas drew up plays to get the freshman involved early.
That's going to be a foul against Madison Hayes of NC State. It's Aaliyah Moore stepping up and taking the charge. She has taken 27 charges on the season, the most of anyone on Texas's roster, and that's always seemed to be a staple of a Vic Schaefer team. You got to be willing to step up and sacrifice your body.
But it's not just sacrifice your body. You have to play connected on a string. You got to take care of your teammates. If a teammate gets beat, you got to be there in rotation.
Uh-oh, the steal from Sanaya Rivers. There's Madison Hayes. Offensive foul against Mimi Collins. Westmore in his 11th season. This team was unranked in the preseason because they lost 5 key players from last year. But guess what? They started the season 14-0, had some big wins, including a win over UConn, who is an Elite 8 team.
Not just their 5 players, 4 of his top scorers NC State lost. But the fill-in and the improvement, oh my goodness, of James, Rivers, and Hayes has been huge.
Offensive foul against Shea Holly.
Let's go with the defensive rotation.
We mentioned some of those key wins for NC State. UConn was a big one. That helped propel them into the rankings for the first time. Then they beat Colorado, Duke twice, Notre Dame, Stanford. All of these teams, Sweet 16 teams.
This is a team that, once they get locked in on a game plan, they are so dangerous. And this one right here in red, Sanaya Rivers has just taken her game to another level. Without the pressure, Texas likes to run the dribble drive, driving hard from one side to the other. But they're using the height advantage, the strength and size of Madison Booker. You notice Booker gives it up, gets off the top, and then she becomes part of the offense.
Four points for Booker. She had 6 in their last game. Isaiah James. I can already tell this is going to be a fun game.
Oh, you know, with the pressure of Texas that they're going to put on defensively, can NC State take care of the ball, handle that pressure? And those backdoor cuts is how you relieve some of that pressure.
Yeah, Texas forces almost 20 turnovers a game. It's a lot of pressure to handle. Well, we've talked about her a few times. The Big 12 Player of the Year, just a freshman. We go deep inside Madison Booker. A little bit more on her background when we come back to this Elite 8 battle here in Portland. You're watching the NCAA Women's Championship presented by Capital One. Well, Madison Booker came in as a McDonald's All-American in her freshman season. I don't think, though, that she anticipated having to play the point guard position.
Well, once Rory Harmon went down December 27th to the ACL, Vic Schaefer put the keys in the hands of Madison Booker. And as a freshman, not just freshman of the year, but Big 12 Player of the Year. And she has led Texas to 33 wins. That's the most wins in the program's history since 1986.
And Brooke, Madison Booker has found a sweet spot on the floor for her shot.
Call her mid-range Maddie. Big 12 Player of the Year, does her best work, 17 feet and in. She's brought this mid-range game back, and with 11 points in this tournament, she's showing how deadly it can be. She told us yesterday that the best advantage is how quickly it happens, because you can leave your defenders in the dust with just a little jab step, one dribble pull-up. She talked about how Kevin Durant, Maya Moore were both inspirations for her mid-range game, and they all three have the same high release. So in a game, a women's game especially, of threes and layups, she is striking gold and hoping to bring that mid-range magic back. Let's go, baby.
I think that's a key component to Texas's offense. You've got Shaylee Gonzalez and Shea Holly can shoot the three. Then you've got an inside presence. When you have a point guard that can really maneuver off ball screens and get to the mid-range, pull that jumper, that's just an added key to their offense.
Shea Holly with the putback, and Vic Schaefer told us sometimes he has to get on Madison Booker for giving up shots because she is an unselfish player. She's fine with dishing it to her teammates and getting them a bucket.
But her mid-range is pure. She can score it. She needs to look for her shot every time she gets it.
He compared it to Jordan Danbury, who was a great mid-range shooter for him at Mississippi State.
Yeah.
The third Elite Eight appearance for Vic Schaefer in his 4 seasons at Texas.
It's just what Vic Schaefer does. And how does he build programs? He starts on the defensive end, then he brings in the offense. And that dribble drive, movement, offense, a lot of people want to play in that system.
Isaiah James with the great defense, and over to the freshman Zoe Brooks, and this will stay with NC State.
Holly got a piece of that. She's getting in the block shot category.
Inbound to Mimi Collins. Oh, the back door for James. Didn't even touch the floor. Floating in the air, Isaiah James.
James decided today she wasn't going to wait till the second half to participate in the process.
If this is the first half, I can't wait for the second half. Again, coming into this game, she had scored 55 of her 70 points in the tournament in the second half. Well, Texas will bring in Amina Muhammad to replace Aaliyah Moore.
Asked Sanaya Rivers if she had to say something to James at halftime to get her going. And she looked at me, she goes, no. She said, I saw that look in her eyes. She was getting ready to turn it up. Well, she hadn't turned that look off. See, this is what makes NC State so dangerous. They have guards that can create off the bounce. Zoe Brooks, another freshman who can get it done.
That's going to be the first foul against Madison Booker. Something to watch. She got into early foul trouble in the Sweet 16. Only played 25 minutes in that game.
Vic Schaefer said he talked to Madison Brooks about, okay, when you make one mistake, don't come back. I'm sorry, Madison Booker, make one mistake and then let that snowball and then be another one, 2 and 3. You've got to shake that loose, get back in the game, next play.
And specifically when it comes to turnovers, because she had 7 turnovers in the Sweet 16 against Gonzaga.
Yeah, at one point she had 3 in a row. And that's when you could tell that she was having a freshman moment.
Again, a player that has been so good, having to play a totally different position, a position she told us she has really never played at the point guard.
When you have to look, the first and second round, she played at home. It's easy to be comfortable, but when you come on the road and got to play in the Sweet 16 and the Elite 8, you kind of feel the pressure.
Amina Muhammad, Texas with a third opportunity.
Oh, man, 4 opportunities and couldn't convert.
All kinds of looks for Texas. No points, though, on that possession. It's a 2-minute scoring drought for the Longhorns right now. 7 offensive rebounds already for Texas.
That's where Texas is so dangerous. Getting on the glass. It's getting on the glass, getting in the paint, and points off turnovers.
And when it comes to rebounding, Texas 6th in the nation in rebounding margin. Gaston, a beautiful pass going to the basket.
Paint points.
12 for Texas. Zoe Brooks saves it for the Wolfpack. Mimi Collins in the short corner.
See, Mimi Collins right now for NC State, the 5 on the floor, 4 guards around her, so NC State can go that 5-out offense.
How does Texas match up with that?
With this lineup, I think it's good. You've got really Gaston, the only post player to play inside for the Longhorns.
Zoe Brooks going to the basket, and she's fouled by Shaylee Gonzalez. It'll be her first.
Sanaya Rivers rubbing her neck as if something's not quite right with her.
And she's walking back towards midcourt. Zoe Brooks at the free throw line, the highest ranked signee ever in NC State history. Out of Plainfield, New Jersey, member of the all-conference freshman team, was a McDonald's All-American. One for two. Aaliyah Moore back in for Texas. They'll also bring in Hattie Fye to replace Amina Muhammad and Deanna Gaston. It's a 7-2 run right now for the Wolfpack over the last 3 minutes.
With 4 guards on the floor for NC State, Texas has got to look to take advantage of the mismatch. That's Hayes and Moore right matched up at the top of the key.
Inside to Fye. Brooks pushing. The kick out to a waiting Zaza. She already has 10. Aaliyah Moore just taking it. NC State can hold for the last shot.
Oh my goodness. Woo.
It's a 12-4 run to end the quarter for NC State, and they are up at the end of the first. Brooke will talk to Westmore when we come back. We'll be right back after this message and a word from our ABC stations. The NCAA Women's Championship is presented by Capital One. What's in your wallet? Well, moments ago, Brooke caught up with NC State head coach Wes Moore.
Coach, we saw you meeting with head coach Vic Schaefer and NCAA officials on the floor before the game. What did you learn?
Just they were measuring some things, so that's all I want to say at this time. Let's talk about the game.
Your team on a run to end that first quarter. How do you like the way that Isaiah James and Sanaya are playing right now?
Yeah, you know, we lean on those two. They make us go. We think they can get downhill, attack the rim, make people help, open things up for everybody else. They're doing a great job of that right now.
All right, thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
Let's check out today's most reliable player. It's brought to you by Xfinity. And Isaiah James, she already has 10 points today, Coach Pack.
And she's done it a number of different ways, shooting the three, but then attacking the pressure of Texas on those backdoor cuts. She didn't get them once, but got them twice to get the easy two. Texas is going to have to find a way to slow down number 10 in red because, woo, it's sweet right now for the Wolfpack.
Chef's kiss for Isaiah James. 2 for 2 from 3. She's got 10 points, coming off 29 points to lead NC State in the Sweet 16 upset of Stanford. NC State shooting 54% from the field. Meanwhile, Texas 32%. What did you notice about the Longhorns offense?
Well, the thing that Texas is looking to do and what they've always done is they're looking for bites in the paint. Paint points has been so key for Texas. And right now, they're up 14-8 in that department.
We heard Wes Moore's answer to Brooks' first question. You saw them measuring. Again, if you're just tuning into this game, there was a discrepancy between the top of the three-point line and the baseline, but both coaches agreed to go ahead and play this game to avoid any delay to the start of the basketball game.
And as a coach, you've got to want to just move on because you don't want it to be a distraction for your players. You cannot let it appear that it bothers you, because if it does, it's going to bother them. They played on this floor on Friday. They were successful, so both teams have to just be excited to play today.
And you do switch ends.
Exactly. Oh, that's 2 fouls on Madison Booker.
It is. She picked up 2 fouls early in their Sweet 16 game.
And look at this pass. One hand bounce pass by Sanaya Rivers finds Zoe Brooks. That's one that Madison Booker needed to just let go.
So Zoe Brooks up and in. Do you leave Madison Booker in the game?
Yeah. I think you've got to let your freshman learn. And she had to sit and watch, and she kind of got out of sorts yet on Friday when he took her out. So to leave her in now and see if she learned anything from Friday that she can stay on the floor and still be productive.
And again, Coach Schaefer told us the conversation he had with Madison Booker was don't let one mistake turn into 2 or 3. Hattie Fye, a couple of chances. It's up and good.
Find number 10. Shea Holly has her at the top of the screen.
Shaylee Gonzalez beating Amo. Aaliyah Moore bounces off the back of the iron, and then Mimi Collins will come up with it. Just muscled it. Sanaya Rivers, count it! And the second foul against Aaliyah Moore.
At half court, I saw Sanaya Rivers. She peeked out the corner of her eye. Now, she knew where Isaiah James was, and I think that's what made the defense have to hesitate a little bit to get matched up and gave the lane to Rivers all the way to the rim.
Sanaya Rivers, her first Sweet 16 or greater since her freshman year when she was at South Carolina and won a national championship. Her and James have outscored Texas already in this game.
Vic Shaver told us the keys were match, physicality, and keep them in front, especially in transition. Right now, they've not been able to slow down the Wolfpack.
Taylor Jones in the game for Texas, number 44 in white. She was not available in the Sweet 16 due to concussion protocol. And there's going to be a jump ball. Possession arrow has us going the other way as Maddie Cox slow to get up, favoring that right leg, but she'll try to walk it off.
I love it when the big girls get on the floor. It's not just for the guards to dive after those 50-50 situations.
All right, post player.
That's it.
Speaking of post players, what difference does Taylor Jones being available make for Texas?
Well, she's got length, size inside. She can position and go isolation in the post on the block.
There's a little mid-range Maddie for you, as Brooke talked about. She's now the 4th Longhorn freshman with 600 points. Uh-oh. And NC State gets it back. Zoe Brooks for 2.
Will Texas take advantage of having Taylor Jones?
They'll get a rebound from her, and she'll go to the free throw line. Let's take you back to Texas's last possession, and Madison Booker, a little pull-up.
The curl around, and then just finding when that opportunity, when that window opens, she's got to be ready to take advantage and knock down that jumper.
Taylor Jones, you see the cue collar on her neck.
I saw
to help after you get a concussion.
Yeah, I saw her dad in the hotel yesterday, and I said, you know, I hope Taylor's doing okay. And he said, oh, yeah. He said, but I thought she was going to play Friday. She was out there warming up, and she looked up to him in the stands, and he gave her the thumbs up, and she gave him the thumbs down. Yeah. Wasn't going on Friday, but it's good to see her out there today.
Yeah, you don't want to rush back from that. She took a hard fall in the second-round game. Sanaya Rivers is just dicing up the Texas defense.
Layups. is the thing that NC State is getting because of the pressure of Texas, of spreading the floor. And when any NC State player goes to the rim, they go with the intention of getting a layup.
Bottom! Isaiah James buries it. She's got 13.
She is perfect from the three-point line. 3 for 3.
Whew. Booker a bit too much. And Mimi Collins has been a force on the glass.
Defensively, making sure it's one and done for Texas.
And she can hit the three. All right.
Okay, you do your work on the glass. They're going to reward you at the other end. Let the big girl knock down the three. NC State, red hot from beyond the arc. 4 for 5 from downtown. Woo, the pack is on fire.
The NCAA Women's Championship is presented by Capital One. It's brought to you by Instacart. Download the Instacart app and get groceries delivered in as fast as 30 minutes. Big weekend. Both the NC State men and women are in the Elite Eight for the very first time. Obviously, the women playing right now, and Isaiah James, she's been ready for the Elite Eight. So we got a little girl math for you, if you will. First half, 4 points for Zaza. Second half, let me just light them up. 25 points. What does that equal? Coach Peck, that equals the Elite Eight.
Is that algebra or calculus?
No, you went to Vanderbilt.
She was fantastic, Isaiah James was on Friday, and she has not let up.
13 today, 5 of 7 from the field. She's perfect from 3. Texas has struggled to slow her down, and they're running out of time here offensively. It'll stay with the Longhorns, but 3 seconds on the shot clock.
Texas tried to run a lot of sets to start out. Now they've gone back to that dribble drive.
Have to be quick here for the Longhorns. Deanna Gaston is blocked by Sanaya Rivers.
Madison Booker has to be careful. She's got 2 fouls.
And they're going to call a jump ball, possession arrow to the Wolfpack. Brooke, what was the Texas huddle like a few minutes ago?
Vic Schaefer was lighting his players up, talking about you're getting destroyed on the fast break. So transition defense was a big point of emphasis. He pointed at his board and said, look, they have 31 points and we have 6 minutes left in this game. So it was all about keeping them in front of you, addressing Madison Booker specifically. Got to keep the guards of NC State in front of you is the first key, and then they can maybe get some points up on their end.
Yeah, this is such a good defensive team too, Brooke. This is a Texas team that's one of their strengths. Vic Schaefer, his longtime nickname has been the Secretary of Defense. That goes back to his days working under Gary Blair. They went to a Final Four at Arkansas, won a national championship together at Texas A&M.
He's very proud of that title, Secretary of Defense, but in talking about keeping NC State in front of them, because they're giving up one of 2 things. Either the driver's getting all the way to the basket, or Isaiah James has been able to be open outside the 3-point line on a kickout.
She's guarded by Shea Holly right now. There's the 3-point line. I mean, she just looks so comfortable, like she's been camping out there all weekend. 4 for 4.
A player on a mission, scores the bucket, gets back. You didn't see big-time celebration. She got back on defense and just went to work.
All business.
It's a business trip when you're trying to get to the Final Four.
11-0 run for the Pack. Maddie Cox over to Rivers. Step back, Sanaya, no. Booker at the free throw line, buried it.
Vic Schaefer trusts in his freshman. She's playing with 2 fouls, and she has not played hesitant. And I think that when your coach shows he's got confidence in you, that allows you to have confidence in yourself.
She has 8 points. She had 6 points in the Sweet 16. do?
You better call somebody. Somebody come try to guard number 10 in red, because Zaza James is on one.
She has 19 points and a career high tying 5 threes. This is the first half of the game.
Now we talked about 4 20-point games in a half. Well, 2 of those also happened in the first half. Can she carry it over in the second?
Rivers waiting for some help. And a tough pass inside to Mimi Collins results in a turnover. Shaylee Gonzalez. Texas 0 for 2 from 3. All right, Zoe Brooks flexing on her fellow freshman.
Well, and it was smart of her to go at Madison Booker, understanding Booker had 2 fouls.
A 16-2 run for NC State. And Texas is going to call a timeout. Isaiah James ready for this moment. 19 points, ties a career high with 5 threes.
Perfect from the 3-point line. And she is just picking her poison. When it's there, she got the pack in control, trying to get back to the Final Four.
Coming up at the Dove halftime report, South Carolina on to the Final Four after their 36th straight win. Whew. In terms of this one, I got to be honest. If Isaiah
because she's just so good.
I'm so shook. If she keeps doing this, we're not going to have any voices left.
Correct. She's so tough. Drea, 19 points in 17 minutes.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. The
Somebody guard her.
The skill. I mean, NC State, too, 15 fast break points to 0
You heard
for
that?
Texas.
You better call somebody.
Yes.
Call Tyrone.
She's averaging 20 points in the tournament. She dang near has that now. We'll get it back to you. See, there you go, Isaiah. I also messed up Albany.
Elle, don't worry, we got you covered. Isaiah, yeah, we're hoping Texas maybe we're trying to call somebody, right? Like you said, to help slow down this player. She is trying to will her team into the Final Four. South Carolina, the #1 overall seed. You heard Elle say it. Still undefeated, going back to the Final Four.
But speaking of calling somebody, you may have to go to a triangle and 2 or box and 1, because Isaiah James is on one in this first half.
Or Isaiah James.
Isaiah James. What did I say that time?
Zaza, 5 for 6 on contested field goals, 5 for 5 off of teammates' passes, and she's really accounted for 21 points.
But when you look at her shot chart, it is either threes or layups. They've not forced her into any kind of mid-range shot.
NC State has outscored Texas 20-8 here in the second quarter. Make it 21-8. Madison Booker on the bench right now with 2 fouls. Aaliyah Moore has 2 fouls for Texas, also on their bench. So Shaylee Gonzalez takes over at the point guard position when Booker is not there. She did that for the majority of the Sweet 16 game. And a 3-second violation on Texas.
Shea Holly matched with James. Set up for, oh my goodness.
And that hits the top of the backboard, so it'll be Texas ball.
But the setup for the back door was there. She sold it. Just the pass coming into her on the cut was a little too late.
Coming into this game, Texas had trailed for 3 minutes and 41 seconds total in the tournament. Today, they've trailed for over 10 minutes.
That's more of what Texas needs to do. Get the ball side to side, attack the middle of the floor, and if you can turn the corner and get downhill, do so.
Sanaya Rivers.
You don't have to force it inside. Make the ball move. You'll find those seams in the defense.
Shea Holly in the paint.
That's another one going from right to left, and then Shea Holly able to drive back with her right hand to the middle.
That bumps her up to 6 points now, 3 for 3 from the field.
Shea Holly is on the left-hand side of the screen, and see how she turns the corner, gets to the nail, to the middle, and is able to get all the way to the basket. Then when defense rotated over, she recognized it and went right into her jump shot.
There was a foul whistled against Amina Muhammad. I know we talked about it in the Sweet 16. Then also coming into this game for Texas, it's so important that Shaylee Gonzalez and Shea Holly get points. And right now, Gonzalez has not scored for Texas.
Well, she was able to score on Friday, and a lot of that was when she was running the point. So maybe the offense can come for her more with the ball in her hands.
There's Gisela Moll. Amina Muhammad bounces out.
James wide open underneath. Rivers missed her.
She's going to draw the foul by Shaylee Gonzalez, her second.
Watching James and Rivers talk. James is telling Sanaya, listen, I can jump. I can have a height advantage over Gonzalez. So just throw it up there. She said, I can go get it. Give me the ball.
Jenna Cross, the lead official, was over at the scorers table now talking to Wes Moore. And they're going to have the teams go to their benches here. So they originally had given the foul to Shea Holly, but actually now they've put it on Shaylee Gonzalez, which is who it should have been on originally. So that's what they were fixing at the scorer's table, and now Isaiah James will get to shoot her free throws. Just a bit short. Well, the NCAA Men's Basketball Championship continues today on CBS. For more information, go to ncaa.com. NC State has surged here in the second quarter, outscoring Texas 24-12. Neither one of these teams has been to the Final Four in over 2 decades. Deanna Gaston down low.
When Texas is intentional about what they're looking for, they've been able to score. When there's question marks or hesitation, things don't go so well.
Do you think that has to do with Madison Booker not out there running the point?
Well, I think Shaylee Gonzalez and her experience, and she was huge for them on Friday. She thinks quick. Oh, there goes the jacket for Vic Schaefer. Now Gonzalez got to look for her shot.
Ball bounces around. They'll take it. That's Texas's first 3 today. Zoe Brooks hustling off to the left. The NC State Wolfpack looking for its first trip to the Final Four since 1998. Somebody that came to play, Isaiah James. She has 21 points. shooting 70% from the field, and she's with Brooke.
The hot streak continues, exactly. Yeah. What are you seeing from that Texas defense that's allowing you to get to the rim and hit threes?
You know, they're sagging off me sometimes, so just hitting a three has been good for me right now. So I'm going to keep doing it and keep driving.
What kind of response do you expect to see from the Longhorns?
You know, they're going to still fight hard. It's still a game. You know, you never doubt another team, so we're going to keep going ourselves, and it's going to be a game.
Thanks, Isaiah.
Thank you.
It's the third time this season that she has had 20 or more points in the first half of a game. Chef's kiss, you better believe it. NC State is up at the break, 43-31. Back to the studio with Ellen Company.
Thank you so much, Courtney. This is your Dove halftime report. The company is Shanae Gumake, Andrea Carter. It's great company to that effect. I mean, we saw Isaiah James in that Stanford game decide to turn on the Jets in the second half, where she scored 25 of her 29 points. She decided today she was just going to come out full bore.
The confidence has completely carried over, and it's been great to see. Isaiah James has outscored Texas's 3 leading scores. 3 leading scores for Texas have 20 points. Isaiah James has 21 points. It's been phenomenal what she's been able to do. The three-point line is ridiculous. 5 of 5 from beyond the arc. Give Sanaya Rivers credit for being able to get into the paint and find Isaiah James. My favorite thing about Isaiah James, she's not forcing any of the action. She's taking what the defense gives her. She's also using Texas's aggression against them, and she is playing with complete confidence. The chef's kiss.
Chef's kiss, yes. The craziest part for me is that we all know NC State does not have the size advantage, but you know the saying, heart over height, and when your best player is giving you this type of heart defensively, that should be an easy layup. Instead, it's a swat. But watch this right here. Just a great read, going backdoor with the alley, y'all. So to me, it's not only the IQ, it's the defensive pressure, and even more important, keep going.
No, 100%. Watch Madison Hayes on the inside. Okay, Isaiah, you're giving all of your effort here. This is undersized Madison Hayes defending Aaliyah Moore, hands straight up, getting back down by a post player that's the size, but NC State is playing so much bigger than they actually are.
And you know what you also use to beat size? Speed. Already NC State has 16 fast break points. They average typically 13, so they've got 3 more at the half.
She's giving me the look. No, you're giving me the look.
I'm just going to play devil's advocate here because this happened. Tennessee was down 18 points to NC State earlier in the round. They were down 18. Tennessee fought back. So NC State had this fire second quarter against Tennessee, 25-8 against Tennessee. Tennessee responded, and it was 9-19. So what NC State has to do is the opposite of what happened in the Tennessee game. They've got to keep their foot on the gas because Texas isn't playing well. They're only down 12. NC State's got to keep their foot down.
You just heard Isaiah say that, too. Like, they're still going to fight. I do want to really quickly, because we're seeing a lot of stuff on social media, and if you missed the first part of our broadcast as we were getting it to the game site, there is a discrepancy in the three-point line on the game, on the court right now in Portland. And you see before the game, they were measuring. It looks like the left side of the court is the shorter side of the court. The right side is, they don't know which side is correct. They just know that there is an imbalance. Now, they met with both teams ahead of time, and the coaches decided they still wanted to play because it's apparently been this way since the Sweet 16. And I'm just saying, entering today, the teams that shot from the deeper part of the court have 3 percentage points lower in terms of the three-point shooting than on the left. So that is something that's happening. It's sort of all over social media. They are aware.
I want to give credit to the women's game because I'm fortunate to also call a lot of NBA games. And in regular season games, we've seen the rim off or the three-point line. They stop and they say, we won't play. These women are showing up and saying, no matter what, we're here for March Madness and we're showing up and we're playing despite the discrepancies. So a lot of kudos to these ladies out there and the coaches for making sure they keep them all calm, too.
Yeah, we saw West, though, go. I don't want to talk about it. I'm sure he'll have something to say afterwards. But again, we've got still more second half action on the way. Isaiah James, I mean, you're just nasty, sis.
Well, tween, right into the pool.
Come on. 21 points. When we come back, we'll talk a little South Carolina. 36 straight wins. They're on to the Final Four. You see Holly Rowe there. Don Staley said, God, won't he do it? He will do it. And on Easter.
And so will she.
Yes. All of them will. 4 straight Final Four. Much more still ahead.
This halftime report is presented by Dove. Let's keep her confident. This halftime report is presented by Dove. Let's keep her confident.
You take a look at the bracket. South Carolina beats Oregon State a little earlier today. They are moving on to the Final Four in Cleveland. They await their opponent, but while they do, let's just remind you of how they got there. Number 3, Oregon State. Number 1, South Carolina. Tahina Pow with the 3. They were hard to come by for the Gamecocks in this game. Ashlyn Watkins, she did just everything for South Carolina.
She was truly the X factor, not just on offense, but you'll see also on defense as well.
Donovan Hunter, 2 for 3 from deep. Camila Cardoso here. She had to sit to end the first half.
I can do bad all by myself.
She
You don't
sure
need to pass
can.
it to me on the block. I'll run.
How about Raven Johnson? A game later, after having a clutch shot from 3 for Indiana, she gives them some separation. Sanaya Fagan, little foul trouble, but a big layup there to Mia Gardner.
It's incredible. Oregon State made 8 threes. South Carolina only made 4 threes. And South Carolina big time on the boards and big time on the blocks.
Yeah, Groundhog Day. Ashlyn Watkins with another big block. And South Carolina is moving on to their 4th straight Final Four. Here's Coach Staley and Holly.
4 straight Final Fours, Don. What do you mean to you that you built such a great program in South Carolina to do this?
It's all about the players. It's all about the players' commitment. You saw we had so many players come in and out of the basketball game. We had some players had to sit a little bit longer than they usually do, but they all want to win for each other. So they sacrifice some of their personal goals and benefits for the greater good of our team. Nobody believed we would be in this place right here besides them, and it took almost a half a season for us to really believe that.
Dawn says nobody believed we'd be here. I don't think Dawn did either. She told me before they played their first game with Notre Dame of the season that they were seated too high when they were ranked 6th.
She was trying to hustle everybody.
She was trying to hustle everybody. But you talk about hustling. They shot 33% from the field, and they still won by 12, Dre. This isn't unfair.
Yeah, I mean, they had over 20 offensive rebounds. Their ability to get on the glass, and even when they're not hitting shots, sometimes a better shot is a missed shot because they're going to get it on the glass. But for me, it's their commitment to the team and commitment to their roles that makes the difference.
And commitment to the paint. They were plus 30 in points in the paint. They had 44 points there.
Also, shout out to Tessa for getting confetti off of Coach Staley as she's talking. A true
Good looking out, sis. Tessa has been huge for them as well as a freshman in this tournament. All right, so while they await their opponent, we're going to get you back to second half action from Portland. Sanaya Rivers.
Ooh. Low crossover, lefty finish, eyes on the rim, elevation, all the things.
Shockingly, Dre is drooling over the guard. This has been your Dove Halftime Report.
You're watching the NCAA Women's Championship presented by Capital One. Well, this was at the beginning of the game. Before the game started at 3 Eastern, noon local time, both coaches were made aware that there was a discrepancy in the measurement from the baseline to the top of the three-point line. The coaches requested that the NCAA measure that. They did that. They did say there is a discrepancy, but both coaches agreed to go ahead and play this basketball game. And so here we are at the half, NC State and Texas, one of these teams moving on to the Final Four. Isaiah James, she was feeling right at home. 21 points, tied a career high, 5 for 5 from 3, and she's had 46 points in her last 2 halves of basketball. She came to this tournament ready to play. Courtney Lyle, Carolyn Peck, and Brooke Weisbrod with you, and both teams, both coaches, how do you handle that situation pregame and get your players ready to play in the Elite Eight?
Look, if you want to continue to play, you don't let it affect you, because how you handle it as a coach is how your players are going to handle it. And I'm going to tell you who handled it pretty well. Isaiah James, she was red hot from the three-point line.
Yeah, and her counterpart, Sanaya Rivers, not too bad either. Let's take a look at Get More. It's brought to you by Geico. Sanaya Rivers knew exactly what to do.
Vic Schaefer said, keep them in front of you. Well, Sanaya Rivers said, you can't stop me. And when she was getting into the second level, she was ready to make the pass. And then with the pressure on the perimeter, backdoor cuts. There's James getting the easy 2. But this attack mode by the Wolfpack has worked well in the first half. What will be the counter from Texas in the second?
Let's take a look at today's game track brought to you by Invesco QQQ. NC State's largest lead, 18 points. It's the largest Texas deficit of the season. Madison Booker did pick up 2 fouls in the first half. Vic Schaefer let her play a little bit longer than he did yesterday. She's got 8 points. What adjustments do you make offensively for Texas?
Ball movement. Keep the defense occupied on the perimeter and then look for taking advantage of your height inside in the paint, but you got to finish the chippies.
There's Isaiah James, number 10 in red. She is the one that's just been lighting it up. Sanaya Rivers waiting on the screen. Trying to go backdoor to James, and it's swatted away by Shaylee Gonzalez. This will stay with the Wolfpack. NC State has not been to the Final Four since 1998. That's their only appearance. Meanwhile, for Texas, they've been there 3 times, the last coming in 2003.
Texas defensively, they're switching on those screens.
River Baldwin trying to go around Deanna Gaston.
And offensively, Texas has got to get the ball right there. Aaliyah Moore, let her cook.
Shaylee Gonzalez still has not scored for Texas. She averages almost 10 points a game. And that's a blocking foul, the 3rd on Gonzalez.
Offensively, on the other end for Texas, though, their spacing's not very good. And with the dribble drive, driving in on top of the post players, move the ball with the pass and then cut.
Mimi Collins with the extra effort. She has made some great hustle plays.
She is kind of that blue-collar worker for the Wolfpack.
Started her career at Tennessee, then spent 2 seasons at Maryland, now in her 2nd season with the Wolfpack.
And she's got that NCAA experience of understanding each level. You've got to take it to another level. This is her up at the top. And on the shot, look, she doesn't quit, continues to go. Nobody touches her, no box out. She gets the putback.
Shea Holly, the catch and shoot off the inbounds play. And that's going to be the 4th on Shaylee Gonzalez.
Defending NC State, Texas may want to look at zoning them up or going to box and 1 on James. But Rivers is having a field day of getting downhill and getting in the paint.
Texas not a team that plays a ton of zone. Vic Schaefer teams are known for that man-to-man.
But sometimes when you want to get to the Final Four, you got to make some adjustments. And it doesn't have to be for several possessions, but just to kind of show it so that NC State has to think about what defense are you in for a minute.
Yeah, they got to take a pause and read the scene, read the room.
You see how NC State taking a step off. They're protecting the paint, making it tough.
Shea Holly just giving herself some more space.
But NC State forcing the mid-range from Texas. That's what NC State now needs to do to the Longhorns.
Isaiah James back over to Sanaya Rivers. Inside to Baldwin. Patience, too. Not pressing, not forcing anything. And Mimi Collins was trying to send it up to Sanaya Rivers, but throws it away.
Sanaya River Baldwin down low, posting up 2 feet in the paint. Post players, when you do your work early, you make your job that much easier.
Don't forget the winner of our game meets South Carolina in the Final Four. The Gamecocks able to take down Oregon State earlier today in their Elite Eight contest. That's going to be a turnover by Madison Booker. Gives it back to the Wolfpack. Each team with 9 turnovers in this game.
And Texas is that kind of team that can turn up defensively, start forcing turnovers and get themselves back in there. But you got to You got to put some kind of defense on Rivers and James because they are having a field day.
Well, Sanaya Rivers noticed that Jackalinga Mwinintanda checked into the game for the first time and was guarding her. She blew right by her. Aaliyah Moore with the putback. 6 points for Amo.
That's a name we hadn't called a bunch in this game just yet, but we need to if Texas wants to compete and try to get to a Final Four.
Her minutes were limited in the first half. She's only played 13 minutes in this game, picked up a couple of fouls. And River Baldwin going up with authority. That should be a foul against Deanna Gaston.
If Aaliyah Moore's not going to get a touch on the initial offense, she's got to go to work getting on the offensive glass. That's how you can get your 2 and get in the stat sheet.
River Baldwin at the free throw line, an 80% free throw shooter. Well, the NCAA Women's Championship continues with the Elite Eight. It runs through next Sunday when we crown a champion. Every game on the ESPN family of networks. For more information, go to ncaa.com, your home for all 90 NCAA championships. Isaiah James, that's the first 3 she has missed today. Started 5 for 5.
NC State, look at how they are all keeping their space between their people and keeping it really a soft defense. What does that do? That it takes away the paint, and it also puts them in good rebounding position. So they come up, it's one and done for Texas. NC State heading the other direction.
And once again, Texas having to settle, looking for that mid-range shot for Madison Booker, who does like that shot, but that one will be short.
You see how much pressure that Texas puts on NC State. That opens up the lane and the ability to drive. They call Rivers for an offensive foul?
They did. That's her first personal foul. And Aaliyah Moore stepping up again to take that charge.
Moore's going to have to make more big plays. Remember how good she was on Friday, even to the point of cramping. But when she was on the floor, great things happened for the Longhorns.
Shea Holly, she knows her spots. She's the only Longhorn in double figures with 12.
Don't see a lot of panic from Texas. They are just keeping their nose to the grind and chipping away.
That foul against Mwinintanda, her first. Shea Holly, 6 of Texas's last 8 points. She's trying to get the Longhorns back in this Elite 8 game. Let's check out how they're fueling the run. Brought to you by Wendy's. NC State got a spark right from the tip from Isaiah James. They've controlled most of this game, but Shea Holly trying to will Texas back into this thing in the third quarter. She's got 12 points, and she is what you call a lifetime Longhorn. Her parents, there's Eric and Michelle. Eric played football at Texas. Texas was always Shea's dream school, and now she's helped them get back to the Elite Eight.
A player that has stayed committed to the program, wasn't initially one of Vic Schaefer's recruits, but stayed and has been that workhorse and has increased from 7 minutes a game to now in her senior year playing over 32 minutes per game.
And on the defensive end, she's been one of their top defenders. As there's a pass inside to Mwinintanda, she'll go to the free throw line, and Shea Holly's parents love it. If you're Shea Holly, And this is you as a child. You have no choice but to go to Texas, right? Look at that baby Longhorn.
He's got the hook 'em horn sign up. Let's go. I see where Shea gets her energy from because her mama's bringing the stands.
And Michelle on her feet.
Texas changed up into a zone.
Amy Collins had a good look at it. It rolled out. But a stop for Texas. Can they get some more points? Trying to play catch up. They have trailed by as many as 18. Brooke, how's the NC State huddle been?
This is exactly what they were talking about in the huddle was, we know Texas is about to make a run. We know it's coming. Let's prepare, keep them in front of them. And then CP, you've been talking about that spacing that they're giving them. Mimi Collins was real vocal in that huddle, making sure she told her other post players, hey, there's certain times where I cannot help you. You are on your own.
That's going to be so key defensively for NC State. If they want to win, it's going to be accountability defensively. This zone changeup, though, for Texas could be beneficial. NC State has struggled to score since Texas has made that defensive change.
And moments ago, back on this end, Aaliyah Moore just picked up her third foul, so something to keep an eye on.
Vic Schaefer likes to have the offense in front of him so that he can call what he wants, kind of dial it up.
Dial that up, Madison Booker. Here come the horns. Kick to the corner to Collins. Crushed it. She has 10. It's the 7th 3 for NC State.
You got to gamble a little bit now. It'll be interesting to see, does Vic Schaefer stay in that zone because NC State hit a 3, or will they change up?
Aaliyah Moore will not be denied. Texas has hit its last 4 shots.
NC State content with using a lot of the shot clock.
Texas sticking in the zone. Skip pass to the other side. They'll work it around the horn up top.
Well, James was open for the one more from Rivers. She took it herself. You got to go the hot hand.
That's going to be an offensive foul against Deanna Gaston.
The stars for both teams in this second half have got to turn it up. Madison Booker, the freshman for Texas, and then Aaliyah Moore for the Longhorns, the junior. They're playing with so much appreciation of being back after missing last season with injury. Texas is going to stay in this zone. You want a shade to number 10 in red. That'd make anybody else shoot it.
Madison Hayes. A scramble for the rebound, back to James. Fresh 20 here for the Pack. And it's going to stay with NC State. I think Madison Booker was the one that got a hand in there.
She did.
Did it hit off of Hayes' leg?
Oh, nice cut. Oh, but better defense.
Winantanda on the defensive end. Again, Texas has hit its last 4 shots, make it 5. Deanna Gaston with the finish. Minute to go in the quarter. An 11-3 run for the Longhorns.
This zone has been good for the Longhorns.
The kick to the corner. Zaza. 6 3-pointers. A new career high for Isaiah James.
Texas has got to go Booker, Moore to close out this quarter.
One in Tonda short and off the side of the backboard at the buzzer. One-tenth of a second on the clock. So they will change it to .6 on the clock. Ten minutes to decide who is moving on to the Final Four. Brooke will talk to Texas head coach Vic Schaefer when we come back. We'll be back after this message and a word from our ABC stations. The NCAA Women's Championship is presented by Capital One. What's in your wallet? Moments ago, Brooke caught up with Texas head coach Vic Schaefer.
Coach, an 11-6 run by your team late here in the third quarter. What becomes critical here in the fourth to get it back?
We got to guard. I mean, we got to guard and can't have wasted possessions. You know, that last shot's a wasted possession, but we got to defend. We've not been able to handle their guards. I knew that was going to be a concern today. 16 fast break points the first half was a problem, which that was the first thing on the board today on the defensive side. So we just got to have a little more toughness. Those things are all toughness, and we got to be a little tougher today.
All right, thank you, Coach.
All right, thank you.
Well, just now the NCAA has released a statement regarding the beginning of this game and the measurements that were taken. The NCAA was notified today that the three-point lines on the court at the Moda Center in Portland are not the same distance. The two head coaches were made aware of the discrepancy and elected to play a complete game on the court as is, rather than correcting the court and delaying the game. The court will be corrected before tomorrow's game in Portland. Again, the court has not changed all weekend. It's been the same court. It was just noticed today. So that is the statement from the NCAA. These were the percentages entering today, in case you're curious. The left side of the court, 28% from three. The right side, 31% from three. Not a huge difference there.
Well, and NC State shot 6 for 9 from three in the first half. In this second half, they're only 2 of 6. But I don't think Isaiah James has gotten enough attempts from that three-point line.
There's Isaiah James going down to River Baldwin. Texas outscored NC State by 3 in the third quarter. We saw them flip to a zone defense. That certainly helped. And this will stay with the Longhorns.
But Madison Booker coming off that ball screen. River Baldwin's not helping, but Booker was only thinking pass. She's got to come off that ball screen thinking score first.
That's something we mentioned. Coach Schaefer has gotten on to her about being a little too unselfish. Look for your shot. He wants her to be a shooter, too. Out of bounds off of Zoe Brooks.
Yeah, Booker's got to be a big reason. She's got to have the mentality. It is time for her to take over if they want a shot at a trip to Cleveland.
Second attempt for Amo goes. It's been a while since either one of these programs have been to the Final Four. NC State trying to get there for just the second time. The last was in 1998. Texas hasn't been there since 2003.
The zone has been a problem.
It's a travel and forcing a turnover there for NC State.
And watching the communication, too, of Texas, they're bumping off. They're always talking about where Isaiah James is and making sure they don't get overloaded. NC State gone to a zone as well.
Aaliyah Moore snuck around the baseline. This stays with Texas. Madison Booker, all right.
The freshman's got to step up. It's time to grow up and take over if the Longhorns want to advance.
She has done so much for Texas this year, moving to the point guard position for the first time ever. On December 27th, when Rory Harmon, their All-American, went down with an ACL. Powerful take by River Baldwin.
And then she hustled back to the other end. See, right now, Madison Booker is nothing but a toss back at the top. She's got to be a threat to score from the top.
How do you want NC State to attack this zone?
They've got to be patient, and they can ball screen, make 2 guard 1.
All right, River Baldwin seems to be the answer, too.
Well, the other thing you got to do is get in front of the post. You can't stand right behind number 1 in red. That's just too easy.
6 points for River Baldwin here in the 4th quarter, and it forces Texas to call a timeout.
You got to be going against the zone. You got to have a center that wants to be that centerpiece. River Baldwin doing that for the Pack right now.
A rematch of the national title game?
LSU has captured its very first national championship.
The biggest goal is to be a national champion, and that's what I did.
As if Caitlin Clark needed a bigger chip on her shoulder, as if Iowa needed more motivation.
Caitlin Clark was going to come out locked in and ready to go.
I'm competitive, I'm fiery. I think that's what has brought me a lot of success.
LSU Iowa rematch.
Just must see television.
Are you ready for tomorrow?
I am so ready. That's why you and we take the red eye home. I'll be at home in place in order to watch that game. I think it's going to be a thriller.
The whole game.
Let's do it.
Iowa and LSU, the rematch tomorrow night. One of those teams moving to the Final Four. One of these teams moving on to the Final Four to face South Carolina in Cleveland. NC State has led the majority of this basketball game, a team that started the season unranked after losing 5 key players from last year's squad. And now here they are, elite.
Now, Texas has been able to slow down Isaiah James, but they just haven't been able to consistently manufacture points on the offensive side.
And Leah Moore will go to the free throw line. Time now for today's Need to Know. It's brought to you by Dick's Sporting Goods. What's at stake for NC State? They're looking for their 2nd trip to the Final Four. They're seeking a 9th win against a ranked opponent this year and a 31st win on the season. They already have their 2nd 30-win season in program history.
Go back to this is a team that was unranked because of the players that they lost. And then they kick off the season, they were able to knock off a team like Connecticut. They knocked off Duke. People started paying attention, and they shot right up the rank in the AP rankings. Leah Moore is covering some ground on the back row of that zone. Now somebody needs to come bring a double.
They did. They forced River Baldwin to dump it off to Rivers. And NC State stepped out of bounds, so it'll be Texas ball. We've seen Texas shift to this zone defense in the second half, and it's helped them play catch-up. NC State has led by as many as 18 points.
See how it now screened for Booker at the top. So she's just a passer.
Oh, that's a blocking foul on River Baldwin, and she is down. In some pain, but her teammates will help her up. It's the 4th against Baldwin.
Look, she's trying to wave Coach off. She said she's fine. She doesn't want to come out of this ball game.
They're going to make her take a breather here. She's had 8 of NC State's last 10 points. That toughness, we have seen it here in the second half from River.
And she's key in the middle of the zone. That's a big-time take by Booker. That's how you take over, freshman. She has been so passive at the top, but this is how you attack the zone. She's got to understand how good she is, the strength that she has, the ability to finish.
Gets the 3rd foul called against Sanaya Rivers.
Did you see the Elvis lip come up?
I'll take it.
That may be the momentum swing the Longhorns need.
Booker has 15 points, 5 assists. Does she continue to look for her shot?
You got to. I say screen for Booker. Make the defense decide. Are they going to take, step up, help on her, or is she going to go to work?
It's a tough shot, off balance, misses everything. Meanwhile, for NC State, 2+ minute scoring drought here.
Well, James is not playing with that same balance like she did in the first half.
And Zoe Brooks fouled by Shea Holly. Madison Booker, the Big 12 player and freshman of the year, 15 points, 5 rebounds, 5 assists, trying to get her offense going a little bit more.
She's gonna have to turn it up. This freshman, if she doesn't want this to be it for the Longhorns this season, more of that from number 35 in white. Booker's gotta cook.
Under 5 minutes to decide who is going to Cleveland to the Final Four. NC State has controlled most of this basketball game, but Texas and their stellar freshman Madison Booker trying to push the Wolfpack. Zoe Brooks will be at the free throw line for NC State. Time now for today's Star Stories, brought to you by Honda. Isaiah James and Madison Booker. She had 21 of those 24 points in the first half. Madison Booker with 15, 5, and 5.
See, Booker having to handle the basketball. She needs to be a scoring threat.
And one opportunity coming for Taylor Jones, who is back available, missed the Sweet 16 game in concussion protocol.
Jones has got the height advantage for Texas inside. As long as she keeps it high, she gets the finish and an opportunity now for the old-fashioned three-point play.
That's the 4th foul against Sanaya Rivers of NC State.
That could be crucial.
3-point play for Taylor Jones.
Now an extended zone. These two up top playing in a tandem.
Short for James, scramble for the basketball, out to Texas.
Booker needs to go.
Hits more on the trail, going up through a double team. What's this zone done to NC State's offense?
It's gotten them out of a rhythm, but it's also playing to what Westmore wants to happen. He wants to take a lot of time off the shot clock with this lead.
Madison Hayes all the way around, hitting Isaiah James. She relocates and hits a three again. 7 threes, a new career high. An NC State tournament record, 7 3-pointers. Jones.
Now Texas, now they've got to go man-to-man. And push in transition. I would go with a drag screen to Madison Booker and let her go to work.
Booker in the corner. Why do you want to see Texas go back to the man-to-man defense?
Well, just to speed things up, because sitting in the zone, Sanaya Rivers can just sit back, hold the basketball, and you see the time clicking off the clock.
And Shea Holly is going to foul. That'll be her 4th.
Isaiah James spotting off. She's on the right side there, left side of your television screen. She's zoned back in from the three-point line. She was so hot in that first half. 5 for 5 from 3. She went away from a little bit in the third. Kind of got lost in the mix, but now to close this out, number 10 in red's got to heat back up.
She's hit 7 threes.
Well, that's pretty good.
Yeah, it is. River Baldwin going up, drawing the foul. And that's on Shaylee Gonzalez. That'll be her 5th foul. Gonzalez transferred in from BYU. She has been so important to Texas's success. Vic Schaefer has pushed her, and she has risen to that challenge. Whatever they need, including running the point.
She's played multiple positions. She brings that heart, hustle to the Longhorns.
So her day is done. Gonzalez, no points, 0 for 6 today.
Yeah, they got to go quick.
Looking for Taylor Jones inside. She is fouled by Madison Hayes. And we asked this NC State team about the chip on their shoulder they had coming into the season. Unranked, picked to finish 8th in the conference. They finished 2nd, by the way. They said, look, we didn't listen to any of the outside noise. We knew what we had. We went to work. And they got some quality wins. People started to pay attention to the Wolfpack, especially when they took down UConn, who is also an Elite 8 team.
Well, and the improvement across the board and how players worked on their game in the offseason, and that also showed up. That gave them the ability to be in the position that they're in.
What about the leadership from Sanaya Rivers? How big has that been?
That has been tremendous. Her maturity and the trust that she's gained from her teammates to allow her to be that leader.
Here's Rivers, won a national championship at South Carolina, would love to do it at NC State in her home state. River Baldwin important in this second half. She's got 14 points, 5 of 7 from the field. All of her points coming in this half. Booker on the second effort, and Vic Schaefer will take a timeout. A minute 32 to go to decide who is going to Cleveland. Let's take a look at today's Capital One rewarding performance. If you hit 7 threes, you're probably going to be the rewarding performance.
She has done a great job, and not only she hit 7, she only took 9. So the percentages that she's shooting from the three-point line, the confidence that she entered this game with, and she was looking for her shot anytime it came to her to really open up things on the floor, and she delivered.
She set the tone for NC State when it comes to three-point land. They're shooting 50% from 3, 9 for 18. So they haven't been just running down the floor and jacking up threes.
In games that Texas has lost, what has been a problem? The opponent's been able to knock down the three-point shot. And that's what NC State has been able to do today.
27 points for Isaiah James. She had 29 points in the Sweet 16. She's had 20 or more points in now 4 of their last 6 games. And keep in mind, this is a player who is averaging about 9 points less per game last year.
When opportunity presents itself, when those other 5 players, when they moved on, it gave Isaiah James even more of a chance to be an impact offensively for this Wolfpack team, and she's taken advantage.
We asked her, what's been the biggest change in your game? She said, I'm attacking more, and yeah, my three's falling a little bit better.
A little bit?
I think a lot better today.
Right?
NC State is trying to run that clock off.
Oh, Coach Schaefer didn't want that foul. It was just too late in the shot clock. You waited that long.
And there were 10 seconds left on the shot clock, so now a fresh 20 for NC State. And that's the 4th against Aaliyah Moore. When do you start fouling if you're Texas?
Well, I think you go for the steal right now. You got to try to force a turnover if you can get that, but not now. It's 8 seconds in the shot clock.
A foul on Taylor Jones, her first. Well, it's been incredible. The heart this Texas program has shown. They could have crumbled when they lost their All-American point guard on December 27th. Roy Harmon went down with that ACL injury. Vic Schaefer's talked about it. It was in a shoot-around. He had to turn it around in 2 hours and get this team ready to play a basketball game. Their fight, their hustle, they've never given up on what this group can do, and they've gotten back to the Elite 8 for the 3rd time under Vic.
Turning the keys over to a freshman. Madison Booker went on Big 12 Player of the Year.
Taylor Jones back up and in.
Now you got to foul. You got to lengthen this game. You got to foul right away.
So NC State was able to call a timeout, I think, before the foul. Yeah, so no foul whistled there. Still NC State basketball, 40.9 seconds to go. What an incredible day this has been. I mean, we knew this game was going to be tough, but NC State, I mean, they just came out with an edge, and it was Isaiah James setting the tone right from the start.
Well, and that's what you've got to do. If you want to get to the Final Four, you have got to set the tone and come in with confidence, and James did exactly that. Her and Rivers both. Rivers knew she had to get the ball inside the defense, and James knew that she had to be ready to knock down shots when that opportunity presented itself. Batman and Robin, they did exactly that.
Which one's Batman, which one's Robin? We don't know. Sometimes it's changes.
It's changeable. They are interchangeable. Maybe they've got 2 Batmans.
Texas got a foul immediately.
See, Texas had to recognize they had only 1 more second on the shot clock and NC State was in duress, you could have gotten a possible turnover there because there weren't those too many opportunities to cross the half-court line.
Instead, they'll put Madison Hayes, who's a 70% free throw shooter, at the free throw line. NC State has shot 23 free throws today compared to just 11 for Texas. Texas taking too much time, and they throw it away. NC State will call timeout. The Wolfpack can feel it on a day when both the men's and women's programs are playing in the Elite Eight. The women 28.1 seconds away from the Final Four.
The game plan was exactly what NC State needed. They sagged off. They tried to take away the paint from Texas. And then on the offensive end, getting downhill. They wanted to attack the pressure of Texas and getting those backdoor cuts or the penetrate in, kick for three. And that has really worked out well for the Wolfpack.
This NC State team took down the #2 seed Stanford in the Sweet 16. They are less than 30 seconds away from taking down the #1 seed and getting a date with South Carolina in the Final Four. So the Pack advanced the ball 28.1 seconds.
I think Texas has conceded.
That chip on their shoulder is paying off. Cleveland, you better get ready. The Wolfpack is coming back to the Final Four for the first time since 1998. These players set out to be part of something special. Something only one other team in NC State women's basketball history has ever done. That's get to the Final Four. And now you can put a second appearance in the Final Four on their resume.
And you talked about Sanaya Rivers and having the experience of being with South Carolina, now being a part of NC State and taking that team, this team, to a Final Four for an opportunity to be a part, to actually play in a Final Four game. You know, it's got to be rewarding for Rivers to be able to be a part of this at North Carolina State.
5 players in double figures. We talked about the guard duo of James and Rivers, but River Baldwin in the second half having all of her points, all 16 of them. She helped them inside too. But the leader today, Isaiah James, 27 points. She's headed to the Final Four, and she's with Brooke.
Isaiah, 29 points last night, 27 today. You're taking your team to the Final Four for the first time since 1998. What did it take?
I'm so proud of them. You know, we worked day in, day out since the summer. You know, everybody doubted us. We wasn't even ranked before the season. Now we're going to the Final Four. It just tells us about ourselves.
You faced a Texas team that is known for their defense. Yeah. You were able to break that down. What were you seeing out there?
You know, just you got to attack the pressure, you know. It was the backdoor cuts that was doing it for us. River Baldwin was doing it for us. Everybody was just taking turns. It was a whole team effort there today.
River Baldwin, a big contributor, as well as your Batman and Robin side with Sanaya. You said you want to be the best backcourt duo in the country. How did you think you proved yourself today?
Oh, we did good. I'm so proud of Naya. You know, she had some downfalls earlier this year. She brought herself up, and you know, she made it. We made it here. We made it here together.
A school to the south awaits you in the Final Four in South Carolina. What do you think poses the biggest challenge from the Gamecocks?
You know, we're going to sit on this win for a good 2 days, but then we're going to go straight. You know, we're hungry. You know, we're going to go straight to that game. You know, I'm sorry. We're going to go straight to that game, but you know, the SEC played good defense, so you know, we got to do the same intensity.
Go ahead and celebrate with your squad.
Thank you.
Isaiah James, Westmore, the Wolfpack, headed to the Final Four. You know a little confetti's coming. Oh, Madison Hayes with the chase down.
He stood there and waited for it.
A team that started the season 14-0, unranked. They are going to the Final Four. South Carolina and NC State. That should be a good one in Cleveland.
Oh, I think it will definitely be a good one. You've got battle of guards. You've got battle of posts. River Baldwin, Camilla Cardoso. The depth of South Carolina. How will NC State handle that? That's going to be great to watch.
Don't forget tomorrow, 2 more Elite 8 games. We'll get to see a rematch of last year's national championship game and tomorrow with LSU and Iowa. But the celebration here in Portland, the Wolfpack back to the Final Four for the first time since '98.
Well, half of the Final Four is set. Congratulations to the NC State Wolfpack. They are back in the Final Four for the first time since 1998 after just a generational performance from Isaiah James. As we say hello, I'm Elle Duncan. She's Andrea Carter, and she's Sinead McKay. We're friends, right? True or false? We're friends.
Yes, we are.
We're friends outside of work. And what is my biggest character flaw?
Oh,
jokes?
Bad jokes?
No.
Besides dad jokes?
Besides that.
Wanting to be right.
Right.
Oh,
And I
goodness.
just
This
want to...
woman...
I love to be right, and I just want to say on Selection Sunday when I was asked who would be in the Final Four, I and only 9% of the nation picked NC State to do it.
You know what? We'll give you your flowers.
Yeah, I'm going to take all the credit for this. Not the players. I'm going to take all the credit for NC State being back in the Final Four. Just incredible. Honestly, the one thing for me and why I felt that is that they are now 4-0 against AP top 5 teams. This team has no fear, and we saw that today, ladies.
I mean, and it starts with Isaiah James. You can't give enough credit to Isaiah James because her confidence, the way, let's just take a second and go back to the fact that she dropped 25 points against Stanford in the second half and then carried that confidence and that momentum into this entire game. She held it down in the first half. She made shots in the second half. Just an overall really impressive performance of leadership. But listen, there were 4 other players in double figures. This is a complete team performance.
True, but when it comes down to one player, Isaiah James, the most impactful player on the floor, and it really came down to one category, the difference in threes. She had a career-high 7 threes. Mind you, NC State made 9, and Texas only made 1. But to me, it was also about the heart that she had. I mean, y'all, she's cool, she's calm, she's collected, and that is a great quality when it comes to March Madness because they're the underdogs walking in, and she's able to make countless plays, including getting herself that alley-oop, knocking down the 3, stretching the floor. This was a complete performance. I don't know if we do those, like, most outstanding players of the regionals anymore, but crown Isaiah, crown Zaza.
Isaiah James, 27 points. That's tied for the 4th most points in an NCAA tournament game in NC State program history. It really is and could be a huge day for NC State basketball. You see them celebrating right now. We've seen the emotion because the men's side are playing right now as well for an opportunity to go to the Final Four. They're facing Duke right now. But when you think about this NC State team and the up and down season that it's been, they start out 14-0. They go 12-0 in non-conference play. And then they go on a little bit of a downturn. We saw, and we talked about this before, their offense. They couldn't find a bucket. And they turned everything around, starting in the ACC tournament and, of course, leading us here.
Yeah, I mean, you know, you heard all the announcers that were calling these NC State games talk about how the team got together and they wrote down things on a card and gave them to Sanaya Rivers. And Sanaya Rivers read those cards and then held everybody accountable to the things that they wrote down. This was a team at times when we were watching them in studio, we're like, oh, it kind of feels like they're playing hero ball. It looks like one person wants to take over. Now it looks like they're a collective group. They play together. They have that energy that, hey, this is a full team effort.
And I want to give a quick nod to Texas because this is a team that I think could have potentially been derailed once Rory Harmon got injured. Instead, now Madison Booker stepped up. She has her first tournament experience. And more importantly, that backcourt next year is going to be nasty.
She also becomes the first Texas freshman with 15 points, 5 rebounds, 5 assists in a tournament game. But you did incredible. Emotions also from Sinead. By the way, NC State took down your Stanford team and then took down your state.
My state, I know I'm in my feelings, but rightfully so. These ladies earned it.
So did South Carolina. Tahina Paopao with the 3. You see him facing Oregon State, our first game on the docket today. Donovan Hunter with the clutch 3 here.
I mean, this was really impressive from Oregon State. You talk about a team that knocked down threes, that played together from the 3-point line, played together on the offensive and defensive end, but it just wasn't enough down the stretch. South Carolina, too many options, too many weapons, too much togetherness.
Including Sanaya Fagan. Got into a little foul trouble, but you see her there with the layup. Tamia Gardner, she did just about everything she could to keep Oregon State in this thing, including the 3 here. But Ashlyn Watkins, big block against Indiana, and then again here, South Carolina rolls on 36 straight wins. Coach Staley speaking afterwards about another Final Four.
Just proud because we beat the odds. I mean, the odds said that we weren't, we shouldn't make it back to the Final Four. Just proud of our team and for them believing in themselves. They created a certain level of chemistry and culture, and they stuck with it. And then they allowed us to coach them, and they trusted us to coach them, even when it didn't feel good to them personally at different times of the season.
Congratulations, Coach Staley and South Carolina, undefeated, trying to become the first undefeated team to win it all since UConn did it 8 seasons ago. And we heard Carolyn Peck and Courtney, as they were closing out their call on the game broadcast, say this next matchup between NC State and South Carolina is going to be guards versus post players, which is pretty much the desk. This is how the desk has been this whole time.
And it's not about the guard play. Are you saying, Elvin, that I'm undefeated, never lost?
Okay, technically, you're right. No, but when you think about it, if you're NC State coming into this game, where did South Carolina struggle? Hitting threes. What did NC State do today? I know it was all mostly Isaiah James, but hitting threes. I've said against South Carolina, if you can have a 12 to 15-point difference from the 3-point line, you're at least creating an opportunity for yourself.
The reason why South Carolina won is because of their bigs. I know they did not shoot the ball well, but they were plus 30 in the paint when it comes to points in the paint. They had 44 from there, so they can always rely on Camila Cardoso and company.
Again, this is an NC State team that has been completely undeterred and unfazed when it comes to facing top teams. And they're going to need to be to take down South Carolina. A quick reminder that if you thought today's action was great, wait till you see what's next. Tomorrow night, starting at 7 p.m. Eastern, on ESPN, a rematch of the national championship between Iowa and LSU, and then the nightcap, USC and UConn, also known as Juju Watkins versus Paige Beckers. Congratulations to NC State and South Carolina. They are moving on to Cleveland, where we'll see them play on Friday night. We'll see you tomorrow night on ESPN. Thanks so much for watching.